Random Randy here. This is Yarn Talk episode 51. I only have a few finished things to show this week, one of which I don't even actually have on my person anymore because it is in the mail. And I have surprisingly small quantity of works in progress. Active works in progress, that is. We're not counting the 9,000 things in Randy's backlog of stuff that are works at rest that need to get some love eventually. So once I actually finish up my one work in progress I have now, I'm going to be adding one of those older things back into my rotation to hopefully get it done in the next couple of weeks. Maybe. We shall see. Anyhow, just to throw it out there, even though I know that the winner has already seen it, the winner has been announced for my yarn giveaway contest, so I will be getting everything packed up and have that in the mail tomorrow. I also have some other packages I'm going to be sending out for other people, and they're quasi surprises, I guess. I have 4 packages next to me that I need to finish getting everything stuffed in and in the mail to go out tomorrow because I just want this stuff out of my house. I'm trying to open up some more space and I'm doing pretty good about getting things moving along, so fingers crossed that I can keep that up. So I'm gonna jump right into stuff that I have done. The first 2 things that I have finished are actually shawls, one of which is the Summer Romance shawl, which I was testing the pattern for Holly from Yarn Journey Crochet Podcast, and it turned out pretty awesome. I actually made mine with DK weight yarn, if I can find which side is the front. There we go. And it turned out pretty substantial. I'm going to zoom out so maybe you'll actually be able to see the whole thing. Maybe. Well, actually, I guess it won't even fit in the whole frame. Okay, we'll bend it in like this to fit it all. But this is made with Kai yarn, which is a loops and threads yarn from Michaels. And it is self-striping. This is the mint chip colorway. As you can see, it's grays and a little tiny bit of lavender and white and just this nice mint green. I really, really like it. I actually did wear it outside the other day, and for it being a DK weight yarn and very lacy, it is surprisingly warm. I actually had it tied around my neck bandana style in the front, but it is long enough that you don't need a shawl pin. I mean, you can just tie it this way. I actually had it on with the top folded down a little because I felt like it was super, super long. Then I just had it tied in the back. As you can see, it is still fairly large, and I won't pull it up over my face because lip gloss that is bright pink, or at least was before I think I had my last couple sips of coffee. I found that one of the only places, with the exception of the mandala yarn from Lion brand, it's really hard to find DK weight yarn in the States. I'm not sure why that is. Just about everything that we have in regular retail stores is worsted weight. But this is an amazing pattern, and I'm gonna have to send an email to Holly and ask her what exactly feedback she needs, because there were a few spots where I kind of had a brain fart while I was reading the pattern. But I chalked that up to the fact that it was when I was working on it, when it was very late at night. I probably shouldn't have been crocheting anyway, but I only had to rip it back once for maybe teeny part of a row when it was still small. Very good pattern. I don't want to say that it's simple, but once you've made 1 or 2, you've probably got the pattern repeats down. I really liked the way that it worked out. So super excited about that. And now I can decide if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to sell it. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with it. Because although it is very pretty, it's not really my colors. I don't really do pastels. I don't really do light colors like that. It's just, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. So that's one finished object. Other one, I started completely on a lark the other day. I don't know what I was thinking other than it was late at night and I didn't want to work on anything that I was already working on. So I have a second shawl that I might keep for me just because it's so quirky and weird. I'm not quite sure yet. So this started out as the odds and ends shawl pattern, and it ended up being something completely different with a lot more different types of stitches in it than was in the original pattern. So it is still a triangle shawl, obviously. This is Red Heart Super Saver stripes. This is polo stripe. This is just a plain acrylic black. This was a Premier yarn. I don't remember exactly what it was called. It was something that was left over from a baby hat I made before. And then down here is where I started to go completely off the pattern. I did 2 rows of granny stripes, and this was with Red Heart Super Saver soapstone, which was left over that I used a lot of it in the Afghan for my dad, and the rest of it got used for Hunter Cyclops. This is Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. I think it was just black, white, and aqua. It was a print. But here, which you can't really probably tell, but I will try to stretch it so you can see. But this solid row that was in the pattern, another solid row, and then here I actually did rows of V-stitch, just because. And then I just finished off that row of V-stitch and did solid stitches down to the end, where I ended it with black sparkles and just did an open shell with a point in the middle. So it kind of looks like waves. Like I said, I think I'm just going to call it the deep shawl because it reminds me both of space and the deep parts of the ocean. But this is fairly substantial. It's all worsted weight yarns, just odds and ends, leftover bits. So you can make a shawl with leftover bits of yarn, in case you were wondering if you could. But if I were to tie it bandana style, and I kind of like to fold this part up so it's a bit more collar-like if I do that. Here's about how that looks. This is a bit more me as far as colors go, but I still don't really do greens a lot. I wear a lot of black and red. So I feel like wearing green over top of something red makes me look too Christmassy, which I don't really like. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this. I do like that I just kind of went nuts and just tested out different stitch types and such in it, which is much more odds and ends in my opinion than the original pattern was, but I will link to the original pattern and maybe make up something else cobbled together and make a pattern for it eventually of my own. Maybe? Not quite sure. Been kind of on a crazy pattern and tutorial kick lately. Not quite sure why. So that is second thing finished. Other one, speaking of tutorials, is I made another one of the From Java with Love coffee cozies. This is the one that I actually made in the tutorial video, which I will pop up a card for that here if you're interested in making it. And the cool thing about this cozy is that you don't have to add the heart applique. You can do anything that you want to it. You could even leave it plain. Really, really simple pattern. And Killian is convinced that these are wristbands that give him magical powers to change shape. He'll push the button and say, "Killian, transform!" and then he'll say whatever he's trying to turn into. It's pretty cute. So could probably make it a few stitches shorter and actually make wristbands for little kids. Just a thought. Other thing, which is also in line with my tutorial that I'm going to be doing this coming Saturday, which will be in a couple of days, is my Narwhal pattern. I meant to actually make a tutorial for it a very long time ago and never got around to it. And in never getting around to it, I also apparently never typed it up. So in one of my notebooks, I have all of the little additive parts, but I never wrote down the specifications for the size of the body of the narwhal. So I went through and kind of hashed that out this morning and wrote everything else down so that I could get it making sense, and I have to test the other sizes again just to make sure that they're about the same from my original ones, or at least the new normal, whatever normal is, honestly. It's a relative term. We'll leave it at that. So these are 3 of the original ones that I made because I thought that I had sold them all, but apparently I didn't. All the more reason that I need to do an Etsy update so I know what I actually have sitting in the closet in all those bins that I'm not looking at daily. So, jumbo narwhal, quite large. Worked it out, and the circumference of this guy is actually 12 inches. So all the way around the body, 12 inches. Jumbo narwhal. This one also has stitched on eyes because I made this also late at night and sewed it up and realized that I hadn't put the eyes on, so stitched on eyes. Next is the, what I'm calling medium-sized narwhal. And this is about what it looks like. Just for size comparison here. Significantly smaller than this one. This is 9.5 inches in circumference. I totally just flung that on the floor. This one is the small narwhal. This one is significantly tinier compared to the jumbo. And the last one, which will be in a different yarn, because apparently this is the only one that I sold at the last show, so I don't have a rainbow one to match. Although I do have more of this rainbow yarn, so maybe I should do that. This is the micro-sized narwhal. As you can see, it is super, super tiny. This one I have not put a mouth on yet. And I changed the design of the fins a little bit to something that I think is easier. The tail is still the same. This is made in the Deborah Norville Everyday Yarn in the Parfait colorway. And this horn is the Hirschner's Holiday yarn with the silver metallic in it. I'm not sure if you can even see that with the light. Maybe. Here we go. A little bit better with my hand in the way. But yes, itty bitty, super teeny tiny micro narwhal. Now, the question I have for all of you is, which size of these should I make for the tutorial? I was thinking one of the middle-sized ones, and I am going to have a written pattern for all of the sizes. I will probably have the written tutorial for whatever size I do in the video for free on my blog, and then because mathing is not my favorite thing for the rest of them, I will have the rest of it, all 4 sizes combined together in a paid PDF for maybe $2 on either Etsy or Ravelry. I'm not sure which. I've never really sold things on Ravelry before, and I don't use it that often, so I'm not sure which. But, so, long story short, which of these sizes would you like me to do the tutorial video for? Because I'm not going to do all of them. That'd take way, way, way too long. The jumbo, the medium, the small, or the itty bitty micro one. Let me see if I can hold them all. Maybe. All in my hands like this. So these are all of them together. So let me know in the comment section which one you would like me to do size-wise for the tutorial. That will help me immensely because I don't know. I was thinking probably either this one or this one, either the medium or the small. But let me know which one you guys would like, and I'm going to be filming it tomorrow, so probably whatever comments I get today, that will help me decide which one I'm going to do. So there's all of those. The thing that I do not have with me is another one of the Nightmare Before Christmas inspired Zero Ghost Dog Lovies. You guys have probably seen those 100,000 times. So, works in progress. As I said, I only have one active work in progress right now, and that is the Granny Stripe baby blanket, which I'm making with ice yarns and big twist yarns. I have added to it a bit since the last time I showed it. Really only about an evening's worth of work added to it. But here's what it's looking like now. I'm finally up into the next ball of the big twist, which is purples, pinks, white, and a little bit of gray here and there. So that's what I'm looking at as far as that goes. And I'm just chugging along on it. I don't really have a time limit on it or anything. I'm just kind of working on it as I go. And the next thing that I want to start working on once I get that closer to completion is I believe it was either called the dragon wing shawl or the lizard shawl. I will link to the pattern for it down in the description box, and I'll probably have it pop up here because I don't remember which it is, but I started working on it back in, I think, August of last year. Worked on it, put it away in a box, and totally, completely forgot it existed. So there's that. But that's the next thing I'm planning to work on. And the only thing I have as far as acquisitions is actually a gift from a friend of mine. And even though I mostly do crochet, I do occasionally knit. I don't do a lot of knitting because it takes me 1,000,000 years to do, but I do knit sometimes. But he got me this 6,000 Pullover Possibilities book, and essentially this is a recipe book for custom knitted sweaters. It has a whole bunch of different types of fronts, backs, sleeves, necklines, armholes, collars, pockets, and edgings, and it is by Melissa Leapman. I also have a sock construction book that is similar to this, and I like these a lot better than straight up 100% patterns because I've discovered that apparently my body shape is excessively atypical. So having a long torso, broad shoulders, but also not being super well endowed in the chest region apparently means that most clothing made for a woman of my height do not fit me in the places I want them to fit me, or then I get either super tight sleeves or super baggy sleeves, and it feels like there's no win with store-bought clothing for me. So having something like this where I get to put everything together and make it so it fits me is the kind of thing that I enjoy. So thank you, Tom, for that. I do appreciate it very much. So that is all I really have for fibery stuff for this week. And I wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who has recently found my channel. I hope that you're enjoying the content here. I hope you choose to stick around. I am well on my way to 1,000 subscribers for the YouTube cutoff deadline of the 20th. Now, my only issue I'm having in trying to calculate how many more subs I need is trying to figure out if the deadline must be met by midnight on the 19th, or if we have until midnight on the 20th. There really isn't any cut and dry information about that anywhere that I have found, so I'm pretty much just shooting for having the 1,000 plus by the end of the 19th, just to be safe, because I know that if I'm 2 or 3 under, it'll be like, oh, surprise, it's, the start of the day on the 20th, not the end of the day on the 20th. And that's just no fun for anybody involved. So, again, thank you so much to everybody who has found the channel. Thank you to everybody who has stuck around and been here for a really long time, or even if you recently found me and you're enjoying the content, or in the case of a few people I've seen, if it has helped encourage you to make videos of your own, because it's really not that hard to get started making videos. All it is sitting there and talking to yourself on the camera about what you're working on. And in case you didn't know, on top of being a yarny, fibery person, I also am a mother of 2. My kids are 3, his name is Killian, and my older son is Hunter, and he's 5. I am a stay-at-home parent, so they are running around making all sorts of noise, and it is utter pandemonium in the background sometimes. But I try to edit it out as much as I can. But sometimes they insist on coming in and saying hello, so you may see them pretty frequently. My husband is in the military, and we are having the super fun event extended training exercise right now, so we won't even get to talk to him until maybe the end of this coming weekend if we're lucky. It might be longer. It's been almost 2 weeks since we've heard from him, so it's kind of rough. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and be looking forward to that tutorial on Saturday. Still have daily vlogs until the end of February, and that is it for me for now. So I will catch you guys all in the video tomorrow, which I requested will actually be a yarn unraveling video. I'm gonna be frogging a long sitting object to reclaim the yarn, and maybe eventually I'll be making something new from it. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.